Alright, today's segment is going to be on the motor scooters we used to have and everything. I used to have I think it was a Honda 65. Grady Robinson, he had a Honda 50. And his cousin, Mitchell Bussey, which I didn't like very much, he had a Honda 90. I don't think nobody liked him. Steve Dawkins, he ended up getting one of them trail bikes. Sucker would rear up with you too. Man, we rode all over the place. Got chased by chimpanzee monkeys. People thought we was crazy, thought we was lying to them, but this chimpanzee, I don't know, it must have been somebody's pet, but it would come out of the woods and chase us on them motorbikes. Sure would. And we rode everywhere. We went across this wire bridge. Forget where it was, but them motorcycles didn't go too good on that wire. It wanted to, man, it'd fall over with you. And we got to where over at the slate dumps. You know, I mentioned the slate dumps in some of my segments. But them hills over there, we got to where we was climbing those hills with those motorbikes and stuff. And I ended up, you know, I had that 65 that kept tearing up with me. And then I worked at my daddy's service station all summer one time. And he got me a CB160. It was a big old thing. You know, back then it was big. It was bigger than everybody else's anyway. And I used to climb them hills with that bike. And it wouldn't rear up or anything. I would get somebody on the back with me. And I got to pay attention a little bit here. And they didn't know what I was doing. And I'd end up going up on one of them hills with somebody on the back with me. Because that big one, it would do it. Nobody else is pretty much could. Mitchell, I remember this one time. Mitchell didn't know how to climb them hills. So we told him, I said, what you do is right when you hit the top, shut it off. Where it won't rear up, you know, because it was straight up nearly. Well, Mitchell, he went up there and he cut the gas off before he got to the top. Well, when he done that, it just stopped right there at the top. And Grady could have probably reached out and grabbed the handlebars, but he didn't, because we thought it was funny. And Mitchell, he just kind of started going back, ended up, you know, it wasn't that tall, but he ended up turning it over at the bottom. Me and Grady, we used to go up into Hayden on them things. Hayden was a long way. We rode it, golly, we rode them in the winter time. I remember one time I went to Hayden, it was snowing, but we rode them anyway. We would stop just about at every service station we came to, and our hands would be on the handlebars like this, and we'd have to slide them off because we couldn't open our hand. We'd have to warm our hands up before we could open it up. Weird. But I remember that. We rode them all over the place up in Hayden, and me and Grady and Steve, we went all over the place. Not many people had motorbikes back then. And after that, everybody started getting them little bitty ones. They didn't get big ones. You know, it seems like if you get a little one now, people laugh at you. If you ain't got a Harley Davidson, you know, people ain't gonna get them. I would get another one. You know, I had them Cushmans. Had all kinds of Bridgestone. Had a motorbike. Honda, that's all they used to have was motorbikes. And when they came out with cars, I thought it was weird as everything. A Honda car? Are you kidding me? But now that's all you see is Honda cars. But, you know, Honda just used to make the motorbikes. And now you don't hardly see small motorbikes, you know, what they call crotch rockets, them real fast ones. You see them, you know, they real fast. But just little old bikes like a Honda 50 and, you know, little old bikes like that, you don't see them anymore. I don't know why. They was fun to just ride to the store and ride around with. But like I say, if you don't get one of them big Harleys now, people would laugh at you. What are you doing with that little bitty thing? You know, I ain't never worried about that myself. I would get one. I'd ride it right now if I had one. Cheap on gas. Alright, that's about all these Hondas. You know, they little bitty details I could probably tell in some of these stories, but it'd make them too long, and I don't want to make them too long. I'm just telling you the, you know, the finer parts of these stories. So that's the Honda stories. I remember Daddy bought my 160 brand new up at Coleman. It was somewhere around just $500. This was in the 60s now, and that's all it cost. That same bike now would be, you know, in the thousands of dollars. But he bought it brand new for $500, and I rode it back from Coleman. I remember coming through, I thought I was a big old dog. Had a big old white helmet, and had one of them bubble shields on the front. If you turned your head sideways, the wind would catch that bubble and nearly rip your head off. But, you know, it was cool looking and everything, so I was a cool thing. And if I've got a picture of the 160, I don't think I've got one of the smaller bikes, but I might have one of the 160, and I'll show it to you here. So that was my bike. It was black. I even got a ticket one time going down the Dora Cordova Road. There's a state trooper down there. I didn't have a helmet. I had a passenger. He didn't have a helmet. I didn't have a license. Didn't have a tag. When that state trooper got through writing that ticket, it was like that long. I mean, he rode everything, riding a passenger without a helmet, riding me without a helmet, no tag, no license. I had to ride it around in the yards until I got my license after that. Mama wouldn't let me ride it on the streets anymore. And I had a trail all the way around the yard, because I rode it. I still rode it in the yard. And Fred Alexander, if you remember when I talked in my friends section about Jerome, meeting Jerome, the guy that took care of him, Fred Alexander, he was good friends with them judges at Walker County. And he got me out of that ticket. Sure did. But anyway, I'm back home now, and that's about all. You know, we rode a little bit, and that was back in the 60s, early 70s, and I ain't had a bike since then. So, wasn't much bike. So, that's my stories on the bikes, motorbikes. The next story, I looked at it a while ago, and I done forgot now what it's on, but I'm sure it'll be good too. So, stay tuned, and we'll have another segment coming soon. See y'all.